Hello.
Hello.
Always early on that. Finally got some fresh hops. Not only did I get fresh hops, I got lupulin powder, also known as cryo hops. I'm very excited about this. The powder that they extracted is like a lot more concentrated, essentially. And you're leaving out most of the green matter, or a huge chunk of the green matter that can be found in pellet hops. And you can even see here, it says the alpha acids are 25%, which for a Citra hop is extremely high. And these are mostly for the steeping and for dry hopping. And the idea is, you're going to get big aroma, big flavor out of them, and you're eliminating all the green stuff. And that green stuff can even add other weird stuff like potential oxidation. You could get polyphenols in there by the proteins of the malt latching onto it, and get haze and all sorts of stuff. I want this as fresh as possible. I am tired of dealing with not fresh hops, and my last couple IPAs I've done have just been way too bland. Not only bland, they've been oxidized a little bit. So this will hopefully eliminate that. I also want to experiment more with biotransformation and with hop oils and all that kind of stuff, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with this. And I did something a long time ago, I don't know, probably like March, I want to say, where I did a Brett hoppy beer, and I experimented with coriander. Coriander is high in an oil called geraniol, and it does also have linalool as well. And if you combine geraniol with high excess of linalool, you get citronellol. And citronellol is citrus and fruity compounds. So with dry hops and with hops in general, when you combine those elements together, you can get really cool combinations of flavors. Citrus is high in both of those. And not only that, it also has a sulfur compound called thiols. And combined with the geraniol and linalool, you get even, all sorts of complex stuff. I'd be very curious to see with this, if we had that geraniol in excess of linalool with Brett, if you get even crazier flavors. It'd be fun to do like a split batch for ones with Brett and one is with regular yeast. If you're going to get that heavy citronellol more with Brett, or if it's going to stay the same with your regular USO5 or ale yeast. So I love this. I love that the experiments are endless with hops. This is why I love IPAs, and this is also why I love brewing this kind of stuff. It's awesome. I'll link below. There's a great article written by Sam Hieronymus. Talks all about the hop oils and how they interact, and there's still studies being done on this stuff. So even if you have compounds that are maybe high in geraniol and something else high in linalool, if there's other stuff going on, you might not get quite the same result as you would with other stuff. Very fascinating. Not only am I steeping this, I'm also going to dry hop it during fermentation. So after about 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to add a dose of the cryo hops. And then I'm going to dry hop in the keg as well. I don't know how to contain this powder. I'm probably going to put it into a sack, and hopefully it all gets contained. But I should be okay that way. I'm just going to sprinkle it in, though, during fermentation, just to see what happens. And that's for a total of an ounce for 1.5 gallon batch. The grain bill is very, very minimal. It's just 2 rows, some flaked oats, and the flaked oats are there to boost my body a little bit, and some acid malt because my water is very hard here in Glendale, California. And the yeast I'm using is USO5. So very straightforward in that sense. This is just a very big hop experiment. And yeah, let's get this brew day started. That was 3 in a row! This... I thought I had more distilled water, but I don't. So that'd be fun. This is all I got left of distilled water. But I'm doing 1.5 gallons, so I only need probably about this much. That was like 1/8 of a gallon. I gotta save a little bit for my refractometer testing too. Alright, that was like maybe 1/2 gallon. Maybe. Let's heat this puppy up. Let's heat it up. Let's heat it up. So I was going to add some calcium chloride to this, but my calcium chloride has turned into meth crystals. Like it's just a hardened lump. I'm not a chemist. I don't know what this means. Do I use it? I was gonna use a gram of it. Let's see let's see what this weighs here. So this nugget of crystal meth is 7 grams. I don't know. I mean, I'll use it. Let's see what happens. I'll use it. I mean, this is the most druggiest thing I think I've ever done. That's a gram right there. These little nuggets are a gram. I threw those in the pot. Why I'm doing this, or I was trying to do this, is to boost my body or mouthfeel a little bit. Because my beers have tasted a little bit thin recently. My sulfites are pretty high, so for an IPA, I'm fine with just cutting it with some water. Although I didn't have enough water to cut it with, so we'll see about that. I got the water to 156 degrees Fahrenheit. Going for a target of 149 in the mash. Little girls, board lofting, circulation, same thing. Back into here, heating up a gallon of barge water now. Yeah, the same old process. Little girls, and this is broken. I cannot get a reading on my pre-boil gravity. Oh my god, it's wonky. The whole thing, the line is reading sideways. They're just going like this across the side. Well, I could use my hydrometer. I have never used a hydrometer before my pre-boil gravity. I'll pull some of this off, enough for a hydrometer reading. I'm gonna cool it down to room temp, and then start heating this up here, and yeah, get a reading that way. That's all I got right now. That's all I got. This is uncalibrated because, like I said, I never use my hydrometer for pre-boil because I have the refractometer, and I had to cool this warp down to room temp, which is what you're supposed to do to use your hydrometer. Where refractometers, you can put 200-degree Fahrenheit wort on it, and it's fine. This says 1040. It's going for 1041. Awesome. I probably will not take a post-boil gravity reading. I know it's a no-no. It's scary, isn't it? My post-boil is 1060. Based off my pre-boil here, based off what I've been doing recently, and adjusting with my boil-off rates, I should be close enough. I threw a little Simcoe in this as well. Don't tell anybody. So it's odd. It says that these are powdered hops, but they're still pelletized, at least in the bag I got. They smell good, so hopefully it's the same thing. I thought they'd be all powder. More research is needed, though. And we'll let this go for 20 minutes and let it ambiently cool down. So by the time I go to chill this, it'll probably be close to like 170, 160 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that range. Little girls, little girls. About half full on my 3-gallon carboy here. So yeah, about looks like a good solid gallon and a half. I will be kegging this in my 2.5-gallon keg. I keep making too much IPAs that I can't get through. The last one turned out stale and horrible. So I don't want to keep trying to chug through those beers if it goes wrong. And it's also an experiment. Okay, so for a 1.5-gallon batch, I'll probably pitch a quarter of this. One of these would be plenty with rehydration for a 5-gallon batch. Still ideal to do a starter, but I don't need to do any of that. I'm gonna kind of eyeball it here. Right, that should be plenty. So aside from me not knowing what the current gravity is right now, went pretty well, I'd say. You know, obviously this is really focused on the cryo hops and the lupulin powder. I really want to see what this does. And so that's what this brew day is. That's what this video is for. And not necessarily the specs of everything. Little girls, little girls. So it's been 4 days since fermentation has started. I'm going to add my next dose of dry hops. And that would be 0.25 ounces. I've been keeping these in the freezer, wrapped up in a Ziploc and also in a jar. I'm trying to eliminate oxygen out of this. Ideally, these would be vacuum sealed, but here I am. Thankfully, I'm using them pretty quickly. That stuff is resinous. It is sticky. Wrap this back up. Try and suck out the oxygen if I can. And put that back in the freezer. Add the hops.
Little girls, little girls, so then
Okay, it's been like 3 or 4 days since I last added my dry hops. The fermentation looks to be about done to me. You can kind of see some krausen sitting there a little bit, but it looks pretty much done to me. So the smells coming out of that fermenter are amazing. I'm really excited to see what it's going to turn into. I have the rest of my cryo hops here. They've been in the freezer in this jar. What I'm going to try and do is put it into this sack here, this nylon sack. That's what I use, or nylon stocking, I should say. I usually cut them up, tie off the ends. This one happens to be the end of the foot there. So, you know, about that much or so. And see if it kind of can be contained in there. And yeah, I'll put that in the keg, weight it down. I'll keep it warm for about 2 days at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I'll slowly carbonate it at around 35 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that range, probably closer to like 37 degrees Fahrenheit. And then slowly raise the PSI. Start around 3, go up to like 6, and then go to 10. After about a week, week and a half, it should be carbonated. That way I'm not losing aroma by doing the kegging the quick way, which is by, you know, putting it around 30 PSI, rolling it around. And you got to get rid of all that PSI about 24 hours later, and then you put about 10 PSI on it, and you're carbed. It does go a lot quicker, about 2 days, but you are losing aroma that way. So I'm trying to not lose aroma in this. And yeah, stay tuned for the tasting video. Should be up in about a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. Subscribe, like all that good stuff, and yeah, get out there and brew some freaking beer.
little girls, little girls.